Hello everyone. Alright, so in this particular photography video segment, we're going to go over some notes on rule of thirds. Remember that this is part of our basic photography unit before we get into photographing crime scenes. There's not a lot to do with this, we just want to make sure that you get a little bit of basis and some basic photography skills. Remember, there's a lot of different videos and people that are much better than I at photography, so you can take a look at those as well. A couple things when we look at the rule of thirds. So rule of thirds is just kind of like it sounds. You're breaking up a picture into thirds, both vertically and horizontally. So you can see we have this grid. A lot of different cameras, phones, and tablets will also put that grid onto, superimpose that when you're looking at taking a picture. Alright, so that you can use that. Now when we're talking rule of thirds, right, we're trying to talk about where you put your subject and some other things like that. Now remember, in forensics, we're not really looking for an artistic shot. We're looking at photographing crime scenes and evidence. But this is still pretty interesting when you get to take a look at it. All right, so stole these notes from Digital Photography School, absolutely. And so we're going to look at some different examples. Okay, so in this case, they want to draw your eyes to the gentleman's eyes, and they put his in the upper third quadrant. And if you look, he's not dead center in there. He's a little bit off to the side. Gives you a little bit of background, a little bit more visual interest, and they're definitely focused on him. And then that background, when we talk about depth of field, doesn't have a lot of detail. All right. We have another picture here. Okay, kind of the same idea. She's along this line of axis for the rule of thirds, and justification for the artist's portrait here, you can see, says that he's making an additional point of interest. Otherwise, if you put her in the middle, it's going to look kind of weird, kind of awkward. Okay, so your points of interest are not only this young woman, it's also you got your dining table and its place settings. Okay, and in landscape shots, they talk a lot of times about using the horizon as part of your rule of thirds. So you can see in this one, this is the upper third, and you actually have the horizon working as your boundary for that. Then we'd have another third boundary down here. It just makes for some kind of interesting landscape shots. Okay, some different things you want to take a look at when you're looking at rule of thirds. You want to take a look at what are the points of interest in your photo, and where are you putting them in your photo. A lot of times, when people are taking pictures, they get, they'll just get this top and they'll get like a lot of sky or something like that. It's kind of nice to get some of these tips and use them to take a little bit better pictures, like take bigger pieces of people and making them the focus of the shot or giving them different points of interest. Okay, and so what we have is we have some practice photos, and what I want you to do is I want you to line those up. You're going to actually use a pencil or a marker and a ruler, and you're going to actually break them down into thirds, both vertically and horizontally. Now, what's very important is that these are even thirds and your lines are straight and even. I want you to see if you can find the points of interest in the photo, and you're going to show those to me with each photo, and you're going to actually turn those in. And so we have some different photos. This gives you an idea of the color part, so they look a little bit better in color. Let them come up there, and then we have some different sizes and some different pictures of different orientation of different things. Alright, so that's rule of thirds. You're going to play around with that a little bit today. You must do your manual rule of thirds, break that down and show it to me and get approval before you can move on to your photo assignment of rule of thirds, where you're going to actually take photos using that idea behind the rule of thirds. Okay? Alright. Hope that helps, and have a good day. Bye.